few weeks ago, a friend of mine asked me for my thoughts on the Fair Vote, which is essentially ranked choice voting. A ranked choice ballot looks like any normal ballot, but there's blanks for the candidates, and you basically rank them in order of preference. If one candidate achieves a majority of the votes in terms of that first place preference, then they're elected. If not, the candidate with the lowest total is eliminated, and then we move down the ballot until we get someone with a majority. That's easy because it ultimately eliminates the need for a runoff, because the runoff is effectively instant. That saves taxpayers money. That's one real benefit of a ranked choice voting system. The downside is, in an era where we're challenging everything, where every ballot is contested, this could get confusing pretty fast. Two, some people just don't understand it. They don't understand how it works. So when they go in there, they don't understand that just because they rank number one, well, that second choice could matter a lot, and so could the third. The other issue is people like seeing an actual contest. They like seeing one candidate versus another. So, for example, if a candidate is eliminated after the first round, you could be in a situation where somebody had a general preference between the top candidate and then the second one, but if their top candidate's gone and maybe their second candidate's gone, how it shapes out for them could be very different. It's an interesting system. Certain jurisdictions use it. I actually like what California does. California has a top two primary system. And the way this works is everybody runs. Usually that ends up with a Republican and a Democrat in a normal election. But occasionally you could be in a situation where the top two vote getters were both Democratic. So you have a, let's call it a more progressive Democrat versus a more pragmatic or moderate Democrat. And I think that that's really good for trying to find candidates that are appealing to a broader number of people. We know in certain states, California, Alabama, the majority has a very, very good chance of winning a general election if it's simply a traditional partisan election, Republican or Democrat. A lot of people don't even think about it. They just pull one way or another. But imagine in a state like Alabama, now there's two Republicans. Let's say it's such a Republican state that two Republicans make the general election. Now it's a different choice because Democrats say, I don't have an option in the general. I want to vote for somebody that shares my values more. And that could be a real boost in a close election. And you could end up with somebody that's going to represent a broader spectrum of views. I think that that's the way to go. And it also allows for some political unpredictability. For example, California Democrats really get uncomfortable about the system sometimes because there are more Democrats running in a space. And let's say in an election, you have 5 Democrats and 1 or 2 Republicans running. It's quite possible that those 2 Republicans get more votes than a highly fractured Democratic field. And then you have 2 Republicans in a place like California on the ballot. Again, I think this is a good thing. I think that having a top 2 primary encourages people to reach out across partisan lines and try to think differently. So between ranked choice voting and a top 2 primary, I'm a top 2 primary guy. And if you know me as a conservative, the idea that I'm pointing to California for a state that has a good idea about how we elect folks, it should show you that I really believe it's true.